Hello and welcome to my homestead. I'm gonna give a quick update on what's happening here. Last time there was a lot of damages and I want to show you some of the updates on that, as well as show you some harvest that have been happening. So let me take you on a tour of all of the changes. So here is one of the cherry trees that was damaged. You can see what I tried to do is put rooting powder and block it off so that they can actually grow some new roots, and maybe I'll replant it later on. But the damage definitely has affected it. You can see the tree is all but dead. There was almost nothing left. There are a few leaves here, but they're dying as well. Now, not everything has died yet. Remember, these are the trees that I marked that were damaged. And I'll show you some of the changes here. Like this one is still alive. It's not doing well, but it's not dead yet. And this one is actually getting better. It's also wrapped up, but this is new growth. So I'm hoping that it will recover and it will actually live. I'm very excited for this one. There is young growth happening here. You can see young buds going. We've had a lot of rain. You can see the water has increased, which is really good for my pond. I want to show you some of the developments among my watermelons and gourds. As I'm walking to the watermelon patch, this is what's left over from my big mound of compost. I planted a couple of potatoes in here and they're growing. Go figure. But let's get over there. Here we are with the figs. This fig is doing quite well. There is still green figs on it. It is still young, not ready to be picked yet, but they're there. My sweet potatoes are out of control. You can see they've become one big carpet. There's really a lot of them, at least a lot of greenery. I'm hoping that all this greenery will translate into nice tubers, but I won't know that for a while. So here is another tree that was damaged and it's not surviving. It's pretty much dead. There is nothing I can do about it. You can see the damages. I do have another cruncher melons here. Some are still very green. And I have one ripe one. Nice, big, ripe. I just need to get over there and pick it. I think it's done. There is another small one on this side. And another small one here. Again, they're hiding in the greenery, but they're here. So, I do have some watermelons left. This one is getting much bigger than it used to be. It's a decent size. It's about a foot long. You can see the vines are definitely dying off, but that's okay. I picked a lot of watermelons this year from them. I'm going to show you these big ones. So that's another big one. So this patch used to be my butternut squash, at least one of them. There were 3 plants here. I'm gonna pull them all out. As you can see from the vines, they're completely dead now. They've been pretty much destroyed by the stink bug. Unfortunately, there was an infestation that I could not control anymore. which is really a shame. There's really beautiful squashes. But what I'm going to do is go and collect them. Right now, the squashes themselves are hiding in the grass. It's kind of hard to see them, but they're here. Like the small one. So I'm going to pull them out. I'm going to collect them. And let's see what this little patch has produced shortly back after all of these are collected. So I think I found all of them. There was a total of 24, and I did count them. Some are smaller, some are bigger, but I would say that's a really good haul. So some are smaller like this, still a good size, and some are of course much bigger. The biggest problem is that they already started spoiling, like you can see on this one. This one needs to be cooked as soon as possible. It's cleaned up and the outside is spoiling. And there were some that I lost, mostly because they already started spoiling and I was too late. I should have picked them earlier. Like this one. There is almost nothing left of it. So, and that's okay. You lose some, you win some. I'm pretty happy with what I have. Even with a short season for these, because of all of the bugs, I'm still very happy with the harvest for this patch. Now keep in mind, this is only one patch. I do have another patch and I'm going to show you in a moment. So this is 24 of them out of 3 plants that were here. Let's see what the other patch is doing. So here we are in the main garden. I'm starting on the outside with the actual bed because these squash vines have spilled out. You can see how they're growing. There is a new one that just finished blooming and just formed. But they really have taken over everything. But I want to show you what's happening here. Well, hello. I do have locusts here and they have been annoying. But this is a nice size. And next to it, 3 more. So squash is definitely doing very well here. I'm going to transition over there. Go around my bench. So this is my second patch. The squashes have really taken over here. As you can see, they also have had bugs. They're also dying, which is not a bad thing at this point in the season. So, but you can see they're, I mean, look at the size of this thing. They're huge. And there are quite a few of them here. Go there. And if I transition here, there's one hiding over here. They're really hiding everywhere. So there's a really big one back there. And some are hiding here as well. I need to clean up this place. But you can see them. And like I said, they're everywhere. They really have spread out. You can see where they're going all the way out. There is no stopping them. The squash really likes to climb and they spread everywhere. So, but this is a different kind of squash. So I'm kind of looking forward to finding out what variety this one is. So it's going to be an adventure. I'm going to have a lot of squash, at least butternut squash, and lots of soups for winter and for Jenny and Peter to eat. And again, here is the same problem. Something is eating them already. You can see something is chewing on them. Alright, so while we're here, I'm going to show you as well some of the developments here. I did have some lettuce that I planted as a seedling. It woke up. I need to transplant it so I can have lettuce going into the winter. I have a ton of peppers, and I mean a ton. These are way overripe now. I still have tomatoes going strong. Some more peppers here, and they're spoiling as well. So you just can't eat everything. See, these are hot peppers that Jenny wants. And there's a lot of them as well. So a lot of stuff here still to pick and to process. The sweet peppers are growing as well. One of them got broken by the wind. It was a big branch here that got snapped, but you can see how heavily loaded they are. These are really, really heavy, so they simply cannot sustain themselves. And there are peppers ripening all over the place, as well as some tomatoes still ripening. So I'm gonna go to the other side and show you a couple more tomatoes. Before I do that, here are all of the loofahs. Loofahs are completely out of control. There's just so many of them. It's amazing. They're also beginning to ripen. And yes, I scattered some more lettuces here as well. Let it grow, why not? Here we are on this side. Again, you can see loofahs. I do have one Crenshaw melon ripening. It's turning yellow now. Here, I'll show another one on the other patch in a moment. And while I'm out here, I want to show you these limes. That's a lot of limes. I'm happy that I have at least these lemons and limes. I did lose my oranges, so I'm not happy about that. But at least I will have some citrus. And there is more blooming. You can see they're in full bloom. Alright, so here we are on this side. There is a lot more peppers in here. I'm going to show you also some tomatoes. Still some are ripening, like this one. Nice large tomatoes. Yeah, there is another one, much bigger. And then there's those little ones inside. I don't know if you can see them, the orange ones. Absolutely delicious. Wonderful, fantastic flavor. So here we are. And some more absolutely gorgeous tomatoes. Lovely. I mean, look at the sizes of these. This is a bicolor Oaxacan. Absolutely lovely, fantastic flavor. So, Oaxaca Jewel bicolored. Here's another one. You can see it has a combination of yellow and red. These are absolutely wonderful. So you can see the difference between Oaxaca by Jewel and the Amish slicer. Different colors, different shapes, slightly different, but both have fantastic flavors. And of course, a lot of peppers. So I want to show you another one. This is an orange slicer, but not Amish. So what a difference. Much smaller, medium-sized. These were all medium-sized. And you can see the difference in sizes. So this is more typical of tomatoes, but these are huge. I will also show you here the changes. As you noticed, all of my corn is gone, as well as some of my tomatoes. I have one of the watermelons has burst. That has been a very big problem here. There's just lately we've had way too much water. I do have some beets that started growing. So these are going to be winter beets. We don't get too cold temperatures, so it does get cold, but it's not as bad as some other northern areas. And I also have these fava beans. Jenny had requested them, so beautiful fava beans have woke up. I do have one more watermelon growing here. I don't know if it's actually going to ripen because there's probably not enough time for it. But you can see more fava beans all over. And in between I scattered some lettuces and radishes. Let them grow. So all of this has been cleaned out. I do have some cabbages planted. Like these, so they're getting bigger, and some radishes. So these are radishes. They woke up. But the idea is just to get one crop of radishes before it gets cold. I do have some nice eggplants that definitely need to be picked. Like these. These are eggplants. You can see there are quite a few of them in there. I need to go and pick all of them. And there are a few purple ones as well. You can see I've pulled out the poles and pulled out of the tomatoes. So this area I'm getting ready to put some winter crop. I'll take some of the seeds that I have up front that I showed you earlier and plant them here. Some of these are going to be lettuces and maybe some cabbages. And I left a few tomatoes, mostly just grape or cherry tomatoes, just for snacking right now. Like if I want to come outside and have a snack, I can come and pick them. They're still producing, not as heavily as before, thank goodness, but there is still plenty of tomatoes here for me to snack on. But as you can see, all of the fall activities are in full swing. A lot of cleaning up happening, a lot of harvesting, and a lot of work that needs to happen. Everything takes time. I'm going to show you this beautiful purple basil. Absolutely gorgeous. It's fantastic flavor. And same thing with this variegated. This basil is also really, really good. So again, I have some peppers ripening. And a lot of work that needs to be done. It is more basil. It's getting tall. So while we're here, I'm going to show you a couple of developments on my trees and flowers. So here are Jenny's flowers. I put one extra tomato plant in here. You can see it's beginning to climb out of the cage. It's getting strong. But the idea is for me to grow it. Once it gets cold, I'm going to move it inside so I can have tomatoes later in the winter, closer to December timeline. My papaya is still struggling. It dropped a lot of fruit, a lot of blossoms, but still has a couple. So I'm hoping it will finally bloom and I can try some of the papayas eventually. So here again are my citruses. I had to support this hybrid because it was getting really heavy. I was afraid it was going to happen the same thing as the oranges, that the twig was not strong enough. So I supported it from the side. making sure that it will not break. Alright, let's transition into the front of the garden. So here is my herbal patch slash wildflower. This is what I have, Jenny's flowers. Last time I was there, she sent me home. There's a bunch of flowers that I transplanted here. She has some Swiss chard that's growing really well. Nice strong leaves. Beautiful. Just when you need vitamins. Got some growing here. I do have some remnants of tomatoes still growing. They're not as vigorous as before, but they're still producing. You can see they're producing quite nicely. But I also have a couple of squashes that I planted really late, and I'm hoping that they will actually produce something. Now these are summer squashes, so you don't wait for them for the winter, you eat them fresh. Saute them or whatever you want to do with them. And I'm hoping that they will produce something. We still have about 2 months before it gets cold. So here we are. This is where I had my carrots and onions. This was my onion bed mostly. As you can see, there is a big change. I have this netting set up mostly because I need a trellis for green peas. You can see they started sprouting. They're doing quite well. Some of them are beginning to send runners, so which is a really good thing. You can see the runners. So soon enough they will start climbing, and hopefully once that happens they will go faster. There are also some carrots in between. You can see they're growing side by side, which is not a bad thing. The peas will act like nitrogen fixers, and carrots will continue growing. Nothing is going to stop them at this point. The roots are too small to interfere with each other. And this will be a nice area for both of them to grow. So on this side I have a few of my peppers are still producing. These are the hot peppers, the spicy Fukushima. They were supposed to be sweet Fukushima, but they were not. And more green peas growing in here, again coexisting. So I just plucked a bunch of green peas in here and was hoping that they were going to grow, and that's exactly what they're doing. So on this note, I'm going to say goodbye. I'm going to wrap up this update, and hopefully you had enjoyed it. And I'll see you next time.